All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here bringing you some honest astrology about the full moon that we had last night on April 1st, 2026. We have the sun in the sign of Aries we've got a big old Saturn, we've got Neptune. Saturn is the brick wall, this is the way it goes. This is the rules of this reality, the rules of the physical world. How much pressure can this take before it breaks? Saturn. Saturn is teaching us, the strict father, the strict teacher of the zodiac. Now, Neptune is also in Aries for the first time in 176 years. It's been in Neptune for the past 16 years. And is now in Aries. Neptune is about expansion beyond the realm of physical world, beyond Saturn, beyond the Saturnian world. The non-physical expansion, beliefs, ideas, creativity, believing in ourselves is a huge aspect of this illumination, this full moon. Now, of course, if the sun is in the sign of Aries, that means across the way in the sign of Libra is going to be the moon. Now, let's take a look at that right here. Oh, there it is. So this happened last night at about 10:12 p.m. And you can see this conjunction to Saturn right here with our sun in Aries, and just 10 degrees off of our connection with Neptune. So this is still a conjunction. I mean, I'd say 8 degrees orb, but nonetheless, they're definitely feeling each other, these heavy hitters. Venus, very important key player in this, is in Taurus. Venus is home in Taurus. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And in the sign of Taurus as well, we have Uranus, break through, break free. Venus is what we love, want, and desire. And here in Taurus, this deals with material possessions, finances, money, your home, your car, the necklace on your neck, the clothes you're wearing, all of your material possessions. Now, Venus in Libra, because Libra is a cardinal air sign, this deals with ideas, this deals with communication, this deals with thoughts, and how we think about balance, how we view the world to be balanced. And if Aries is about myself and me as an individual, you as an individual, well then Libra is about us, ours. And that is an interesting part of this full moon is what is yours, what is mine, and the emotions around us, you and me and you. And I have to do my thing over here, and I have this strict calling to get these things done over here on my end, and I'm going to try to meet with you where I can in the middle, and we create balance and harmony. As well, squaring this full moon, we have Jupiter. Jupiter is saying more. More what? Emotions, as it's dealing with Cancer. So right now, emotions can be heightened during this full moon. All right. So where do we go from here? What are these planets trying to teach us? As Jupiter's saying more emotions, as the moon is in Libra dealing with emotions and the balance between what's yours and what's mine. And just because you have an emotional reaction doesn't mean that I have to have an emotional reaction. So, for example here, let me figure this out. There we go. Okay. I had to move things around here on this system. I tried to get this working yesterday, but it wasn't. I'm hoping everything is working today. I just fixed it. And no audio issues with my voice sounding like this again. That was interesting a couple weeks ago. Anyway, so there's all kinds of issues. You know, even though Mercury is moving direct, Mercury is still in its shadow period inside of Neptune, right? So we have Mercury, Mars, the North Node still in Pisces. I said Neptune. Still in Pisces. Okay, so Mercury's still in its shadow moving through. Personally, I didn't get the Mercury retrograde until the very end, and ever since then, still in this process now, a lot of my electronics are still going haywire. Now, the Mercury retrograde is a simple process. When the antennas get too close, when Mercury gets too close to Earth, it's overwhelming the antenna, okay? So just like if you go to a concert and you're with a bunch of other people and a bunch of other cell phone devices, and your cell phone doesn't work, you get bad service. But you can go there at another point in time and your cell service is fine. There's too many antennas around. There's too much trying to receive the signal. It's kind of getting jammed. So the same thing happens when Mercury or any of the planets are retrograde. They're closer to Earth, and they're kind of scrambling the signal. So things are a bit haywire. Now, personally, my friends, I don't want to disappoint you. I enjoy putting out these astrology videos. I enjoy talking about astrology. I enjoy learning about the planets myself and what messages they have for us. I enjoy this astrology news more than I like world news or local news, things like that. I like to see this bigger picture. So it was hard for me emotionally that I couldn't give to you. Okay. It was frustrating for me that I couldn't deliver this message, as important it is to some or as insignificant as it is to others, right? I have a due diligence. I have this commitment, we'll say, okay, to put these videos out. And I try to get them out for not just for the viewers, but for myself. I try to put this out for whomever wants to watch it. Now, this ties in here. So I want to provide something. I want to provide a service. I want to provide something for others. I want to give. Okay, it's part of my giving. All right, just as many people have something giving. And somebody could say, man, I really wanted to see that video yesterday. I was really hoping Aaron would put out a video. Maybe you're having a hard time out there, and maybe these words comfort you. And I'm so grateful if they do. And I don't want to disappoint you. And you might have been disappointed, right? So this isn't just about me putting out an astrology video or you, but this is about the world at large. Let me come back to the chart here. Right, we have these trines happening between the moon and transformative Pluto in the community-centered Aquarius and technology. And then that creating a trine down here to Uranus, break through, break free. Okay. We don't want to disappoint the other. Now, however, we have Chiron conjunct Eris here as well, and we're going to talk about this. It is within my duty to my personal self and your personal selves to do something in life, to do something with your time, to do something with your hands, to do something with your abilities. And this Sun in Aries conjunct Saturn and Neptune, this is about us getting and feeling the fire and the spark of life to say, yeah, this is my one opportunity to live this life, and I have a lot of things to accomplish here, and there's a lot of things I want to do, and there's a lot of people I want to connect with here in this one time that I remember this life. We can debate that reincarnation stuff, but I don't know my other lives. I know this life, and this is the life that I'm here to live. I'm not here to release some karmic drama that happened in my previous life. I don't care. And other people can tell me that I am, and I just don't care. I have other things to do that are important to me than to listen to somebody else telling me how I should be feeling, which is huge about this full moon. There's a lot of guilt tripping and shame going on, okay? And other people want us to have an emotional reaction. Now, I don't have to sacrifice my own beliefs to appease you. I don't have to sacrifice, you don't have to sacrifice yourself, your emotions to appease me. You don't have to sacrifice your beliefs to appease others. These are your beliefs. And you have done what you did in your life to move forward, to learn about these things, these beliefs that you hold dear to yourself, and you act accordingly to your beliefs. And if other people don't align with your beliefs, you don't have to have an emotional reaction to that. Meaning, if purple is in alignment with purple, all the colors of the rainbow exist, and red wants, violet to be more like red, and violet says, no, I'm simply being what I am. Violet doesn't have to have an emotional reaction because red isn't getting its way, that violet isn't conforming to red. Just the same as violet doesn't have to have an emotional reaction, that red is having an emotional reaction because violet is not red. Does that make any sense? I don't have to have an emotional reaction just because you believe or feel differently than I do. You don't have to have an emotional reaction because people feel differently than you do. You don't have to have an emotional reaction to others if they are having an emotional reaction to your beliefs. This sounds like it's getting complicated. I want to help unmuck it. And people will guilt trip us. People will shame us because you're not doing the thing that I want you to be doing. And although I know that you're a caring person, I know that you're a giving person, I know that you want to provide, it's simply not enough. And I want more from you. I have taken this time to plant an apple tree. I want to plant an apple tree in my yard because I want this tree to provide for me. I want it to provide a source of nutrients for me as my year progresses. Well, now the tree is matured and it's grown apples, and I can have an observation of how many apples I've received, and I can have an emotional reaction to that of which the other is giving me, the other being the tree, the other being where the moon is right now in Libra. I can have an emotional reaction that the tree simply didn't provide enough apples for me to be satisfied. I can say that this tree did not provide enough apples for me to feed myself, to feed my family. This tree did not provide enough apples for me to sell at the market so that I could have enough money for heat and all of the other things. I can complain about the tree, but the tree is simply the tree. As many apples as the tree grows, maybe it depends how much I water it. Or if I'm overwatering it, I need to water it less. Am I killing the roots, right? This is important. It's like communication. And watering our garden is extremely important in Pisces belief. And it's like we can communicate to water our garden, which is extremely important. But if we over communicate and over water our garden, it's killing it just the same as not watering enough. So we're trying to find the balance of where do we communicate? Where do we hold back? What is necessary to have a reaction to? What is necessary to say, this is how I believe about it? It's like, it's a belief. You know, you can get on your soapbox and pedestal and say, this is how I feel about this thing. And it's just like, okay, does it matter? Maybe not. But we can proclaim, I believe this thing and I want to follow this and this is how things should be. It's like, okay, for you, cool. It's awesome that you have that belief. It's awesome that you have that conviction. It's awesome that you feel a certain way. So there's another way. It's just like, you know, and the religious side of things, there's a lot of religious side of stuff coming up. Is again, we're ending the age of Pisces and entering the age of Aquarius. Now, each of these ages is a 2,160-year cycle. 216, these are mathematical geometry. Anyway, 25,920 years to go around the wobble of the Earth, and then you divide that into the 12s, 2,160. So we have changes happening in the laws and religion, and we followed astrology and now we're confused and we're following it again to get us back on track. Either way, we have different astrological beliefs, right? Jews who here in the age of Aries, Jude is the dawn of Judaism, and they believe they're the chosen people. God's only chosen people, and the rest of people here on earth just are not God's chosen people. They're loved by God, but not God's chosen people. Like, what a load of crap. You know, to be honest, I don't, that concept means nothing to me. Right? It's like we're all God's chosen people, and how selfish of you to believe that way. Christians believe, hey, I believe in this book, and I believe in this age of this Pisces belief, and I believe in the solar Messiah, Jesus. And if you don't believe in this Jesus, then you're going to go to hell. And I'm going to guilt trip you and tell you about this and feel bad and pity for you and have, you know, this emotional guilt trip. You know, it's just like this meme of Jesus knocking at the door. Is just like, let me in. And it says, why? And it says, so I can save you. And the voice inside says, from what? And Jesus says, from me if you don't let me in. It's this irony and there's this guilt tripping, like let me in or else, believe in me or else, these things. And if you don't believe these things, then we're going to feel guilt and shame and pity upon you, and you're going to go, and it's just like these laws don't apply. If you're an atheist, if you don't believe in Christianity, those laws don't apply to you. If you're not a Muslim and you don't believe in Sharia law, those laws do not apply. The emotional ties that other people that do belong to those groups, religions, or outside, we can even say political groups, like big time political groups. If you're not doing this, you don't care. The amount of guilt and shame people have projected their guilt and shame they're projecting onto me because I have a different path, a different course, and I don't necessarily see the world in the same shade or perspective that they do, right? And now this, I'm saying this about self, and I'm applying it to all of us. We all deal with this. We all deal with somebody from a different outside view or perspective or belief of something trying to shame us into thinking, acting, believing, doing what they think is best. However, with this Aries energy, the sun in Aries, with it conjunct Saturn, which is like you are the person that's in charge of your reality. You are the person that's in charge of when you wake up in the morning to say, I'm doing the best I can as an individual. I'm doing the best I can. And if somebody else wants to say, I'm upset at you because this, or I think your actions are lame, or I think you didn't do enough here, or I'm disheartened about this, for just simply being, that's somebody else's emotions or energy they're trying to project onto you for simply just being. So we don't have to accept those emotions. We don't have to respond to those emotions because we simply have to do our thing. We have to continue to go about our path. And we have the discernment and the responsibility, the commitment, right? We have to be committed to something. So if I'm committed to winning the argument, if I'm committed to making sure that you have an understanding of why I chose the things I did or why I couldn't put out this video as much as I wanted to, I had a lot of issues with my electronics and getting either way, right? It's like, is that the life that we want to live as well, where we're constantly explaining ourselves? It's like, no, this is how it is. This is when it gets out. This is when the video's made. This is how we show up. I couldn't be here before, but I'm here now. This is what I have to give, right? And we can say my friends, my family, my community, the people. There's thousands of people that I love that I want to hug and wrap my arms around. There's thousands of people that I know of that I would love to be able to help individually and along their way. And if I give to every single person as much as they need, as much as they require, as much as they're going to take, I don't have time for every single person and every single thing, including myself. And we have to make sure that we're pouring from a full cup. So in the same sense for ourselves is the totality, the whole. We don't have to constantly feel guilty, feel bad for not being enough for somebody else. You are enough. You are enough. And you're committed to being your full enough self. And if that means taking time for yourself to rest, that means you have to rest. And that means if you have to disappoint somebody, disappoint them. That's okay. People can be disappointed over anything. And if our roots aren't deep into the earth, and every time the wind blows that our tree becomes unplanted, let me rephrase that. If every time your wind blows and it uproots the tree, it's not your fault that that tree wasn't grounded. It's not your fault that that tree wasn't deeply rooted. The wind is going to blow. The moon is going to move the tides. The tides are going to create the, right? This is the natural of life. There's no escaping it. There's no escaping it. So in this totality, in this big message here, and it's how we're dealing with this last bit of Chiron conjunct Eris. And Eris is how we deal with information being presented to us. So it's just like all of the power is in our laps, and you have to do something that you're doing in life. And you doing and you being the vibrant color that you are, the brilliant light that you are, and you using your hands and your mind and your mouth and your abilities to maneuver this earth and to do the things that are the gifts for you to give back to humanity, humanity will be disappointed by you in one way or another. It wasn't enough. It was too much. You didn't communicate enough. You communicated too much. It was high instead of low, and cold instead of warm, and warm instead of blah, 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 blah. We don't have to let those arrows pierce our armor, our aura. Okay, so in part of this energy is making sure that our aura, our breath, our strength internally is strong enough, that we are grounded enough as well to when other people's wind blows, when other people are shaking our tower. You know, I'm seeing this like image of Ace Ventura 2 right now, and Jim Carrey's like shaking that pole and the guy standing on top with one leg. It's like, that's how focused we are. That's how grounded we are. That's how committed we are to our vision, to whatever it is that we need to be, so that when somebody is shaking us, you know, we're not going to fall. We're not going to fall off our path. We're not going to have an emotional reaction because the wind's blowing or because the tree didn't provide enough apples. We'll simply plant more trees. Okay? I think there's a good amount in there for you today. My friends, I love you so much. So much. It's such an honor and a pleasure to sit down and do these. I hope you have a wonderful full moon. I hope you're feeling empowered with yourself. I hope you're feeling strong in your mind and your hearts. And anyone who's coming at you with any sort of emotional energy that's kind of the nipping at your heels of things, it's like, again, we don't have to stop and engage with every barking dog on the way to our destination, because we'll never get there. So I love you. I wish you enough, and we'll see you next time.